Right now, we'd like to conclude with one more question, two more questions on immigration. The first candidate, once again, will be Ovid, and Jerry will ask those questions.
Better get your Constitution out. Define the term invasion as referred to in the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 15, and Article 1, Section 10, Paragraph 3. Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 15.
Would you read the question out loud, the paragraph, so we know what it is?
Yes. To provide, let's see if I have the right section. To provide for calling forth a militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions.
That's correct.
Okay, that's the first one. And the second one?
Is Article 1, Section 10, Paragraph 3. It's the last paragraph in section in the Article 1.
Section 10?
Yep. Just before Article 2. Starts no state.
No state without the consent of Congress without the consent of Congress lay any duty of
That's correct.
tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power to engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as shall not admit of delay. Okay? And your question is?
Define the term invasion as referred to in those two articles, and then based on your answer, do you believe that our current illegal immigration crisis fits the constitutional definition of invasion?
Everybody get the question? I think the question is whether or not illegal immigration constitutes invasion.
Per the Constitution.
Per the Constitution. Well, let me answer it this way. You have to look at the laws in context. I'd have to study this a little more, but I believe that in fact, when illegal immigrants come to the country, they are invading the country. They're penetrating our borders in an unlawful way. I'm looking at the word invasion in Webster's dictionary, which is where you might start, and look at the other case law. I think that that's exactly where we are. But I think the point I'd like to make is this. The Constitution has certain enumerated powers to delegates certain enumerated powers to the national government, our federal government. That delegation of authority is by the states when they adopted the Constitution on behalf of us as the people. And it's clear in the Constitution, reading it in context, that national security, border security, are delegated to the federal government to do for us, to protect us. But that does not mean that we as states and individuals don't have also the independent sovereign right to protect ourselves. And that's the point that needs to be made, and that's why it's important to reclaim this concept of federalism. We are 50 different states working together when it comes to the federal government. But we are still 50 different states, as well as we are 300 million plus individuals. We have sovereignty of our own. We have the right to protect ourselves, which is why the right to bear arms under the Second Amendment should be inviolate. No one is suggesting violence. We're suggesting protection. That's our right. That includes protecting our home under the Second Amendment, and taken to a larger extent, the states have that responsibility, and the federal government does as well. Illegal immigration from that perspective, or illegals coming across our borders, is invasion. How's that?
Thank you. I would also like to afford Kelly an opportunity to answer the question as well.
Well, I would like to refer first to the first provision that was referenced, which is Article 1, Section 8, which is what I was talking about before, which is the reason we formed a government is to make sure that we are fundamentally safe. And when you look at Article 1, Section 8, one of the powers that are particularly enumerated and given to Congress is to provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. General defense. And I have to tell you that securing our borders is part of our general defense of the United States. And again, looking at the other provision that was cited, which is the provision about invasion, certainly with what they were going through in Arizona, it was an invasion, it remains an invasion, and they had to act. I mean, when you're on your own property and you are shot at and killed on your own property, people need to act. And I'm sure if that rancher had his gun that day, he would have taken care of it. But the government has a fundamental purpose to make sure that we protect our country. And you know, what other country in the world wouldn't act if they were in this situation? You think about it. And so I also want to add one more thing about the Arizona law. We're talking about asking for someone's license. As far as I know, when I get stopped from a police officer, I'm required to give my license and registration. So when you think about how onerous this Arizona law is, and if you are in this country illegally and you don't have some provision of a driver's license, some way to establish your citizenship, I do not think it is unreasonable for you to offer your visa or whatever documentation, because we have to do that as United States citizens, and that's essentially what that law provides.
And now, Jim Bender, the same question.
Jeff, I feel like I'm in Professor Kingsley's class in the paper chase. I can't wait till we get to the part about how we're going to create jobs for America. But
well, they took them all away. That's
I think you've cited two paragraphs in the Constitution that basically defend the right of Arizona to protect its borders, to repel an invasion, and we've all talked about that. I don't really have anything more to add except going back to the last question. We have a federal government right now with what they are about to do to Arizona and also to Alabama, in which not only are they taxing us too much, regulating too much, now they're litigating us too much. And in all three of those areas, they're suppressing our economy, and we need to get control of our government and get it under control. Thank you.
What we'd like to do right now is move on to a new topic. Sorry about that. We'd like to go ahead and conclude this topic on immigration with candidate Bill Binney.
I think that the federal government's first job is defense, which includes securing our borders. And I think that what we're seeing in Arizona now is a political ploy by the current administration. They can fix this problem easily. They can send troops down. There's no reason they shouldn't and couldn't and wouldn't. But they don't want to, because they want this as a political football. That's what happens in Washington. They want things to stir up. They don't want to solve real practical problems that impact the lives of ordinary citizens. No, they'd rather ferment all one side against another. Do I think that the people in Arizona are frustrated and angry and need to do something? Absolutely. Do I think that they should arrest the people that are causing these problems? Absolutely. Should they maintain order? That's the first law and requirement of the police in the state of Arizona. They are frustrated. I respect that. But what's going on in Washington right now about Arizona is at the very heart of what's wrong with our country right now. Think about it. We all see the problem. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants in the southern part of our country, and they won't do anything about it. We recognize that. And what we need to do is stop sending people to Washington who won't take that problem on. And that's why I'm running, because I think that we have real practical solutions that need to be fixed for ordinary folks. And it's time for us to stop paying taxes because they're running a deficit. For stop having our liberties taken away because illegal immigrants are coming into our country. I believe in small government, responsible government, effective government. That's why I'm running. Thank you.